Hi again. I think we're well overdue a frugal living video, and if you see my last video then you'll have seen that I was talking about how an easy, boring job can actually allow you a lot of freedom to do what you want while you're getting paid to work. But how can you actually save on a low income job? I'm going to give you a ton of tips, starting with this one, and this is the most important in my opinion. Choose wisely where you live. So many people pay more rent than they should. You don't need to have a fancy place. If you're on a low income, you want to have the most basic, cheapest rent place that you can find. I know it's a bit of a ball ache, but doing the work, looking around, searching, being very thorough with your searches, you will find bargainous places to live for a good price. One of the houses that I rent to somebody, I only charge £400 for. That's only $500 per month, and he lives there with his daughter. Lovely little house, keeps it really nice and tidy. It's in a pleasant street and it's in an average price town. Choosing wisely where you live will literally save you thousands per year. I mean, think about it. If you're working full-time on a minimum wage in the UK, you're earning just over £400 a week. That's £320 after tax. At the very most, half of this should cover your rent, leaving you £160 for anything else that you need. Times that by 4 weeks, and that's over £600 per month. I fully believe that you can save half of this. Yes, that means that you'll be saving 25% of your low-income wage, leaving you with £300 for food, bills and entertainment. If that seems impossible, keep watching because I'm going to prove it's not. If that same guy who rents a place from me wanted a 2-bedroom house for himself and his daughter, he would only have to save for 2 years before having the 10% deposit necessary to buy the same house instead of renting it. Alright, second most important thing, cancel any subscriptions that you don't need. This is huge. Get rid of the gym for a start off. That's a big one. That's quite an expensive one. They're usually about £30 or £40 a month, sometimes a little bit cheaper, sometimes a bit more expensive. You don't need to go to a fancy gym, especially if you're on a low income wage. You can train at home for free with your body weight, or there's plenty of free gyms outside, depending on where you live. And no more paying for transport either. If you're on a low income wage and you want to save money, then instead of paying for public transport or having a car, invest in a second-hand bike. You can usually pick one up for around £20 to £30 and then start riding to work instead. Or if you absolutely have to have a car, then I would recommend that you buy the cheapest, most reliable car that you can find for a good price. Maybe around £1,500, which is about $1,800. Something like a Toyota are really good, and if you get 3 years out of it, then that means the car only actually costs you about £10 per week. Remember, debt is the devil. We don't want to be anywhere near debt. Alright, next one. Stop buying clothes. You already have enough clothes. Be honest, almost everybody watching this already has too many clothes and most likely never wears half of their wardrobe. Next one, cut out takeaways and meals in restaurants or drinks in bars. If you're on a low income wage and you're trying to save, you can't be going to places like that. You can't be blowing £30 or $35 on an Indian meal for a takeaway. It's just not feasible to save and do that on a low income. Instead, make a meal in a restaurant or a takeaway a special occasion. Just once or twice in a month and do it as cheaply as you can. An Italian restaurant is probably the best option for this. You can share a pizza together and keep your costs down even further if you want to. And yeah, you still get the joy of going out for a meal, but you do it very frugally. But like I said, this is only something you would do once, maybe twice in a month if you're on a low income and you're trying to save. And if you're not going to restaurants because you're single, then you might still be going on dates. And if you're going on dates, I would say that you don't need to spend more than £10 to £15 on a date. That's almost $20. That'll be enough to buy about 4 drinks usually. And if it's not, and it can only afford you 3 drinks, then make your last drink a soda water. They're usually free. If you get a soda water with lime, then that's usually a free drink that they'll give you at the bar. And £10 to £15 is usually enough to cover 3 drinks, I think. So that's another option. I know you might feel poor doing this, but a strong focus and determination is what it takes to save on a low income. And if it makes you too uncomfortable to drink water in a bar, then I would probably say to go to the cinema instead. The place where I live in the UK, it only costs £5 for a seat in the cinema. So you could take your date there or go by yourself, and it's still only going to cost you about £10. Speaking of which, go check out my video, how much I actually spend in a day, where I prove that you can absolutely live on £10 a day, which would equal the £300 a month. And anytime that you start feeling sorry for yourself because you feel like, oh, I don't want to do this, I don't want to save, I'm having less of a joy of life because of it, just remember the reasons why you're trying to save, whether it's to create passive income so that your future self will thank you for it, or whether it's because you're trying to save for that first house. If you write down your reasons and remind yourself the reasons, this will fuel you to keep going on those days when it feels quite difficult. If possible, try to make it a gain to save as much as possible each day, so that at the end of the day you get excited about how much you've managed to save. Soon you'll get addicted to saving, so it becomes fun. Right, and the last thing I'm going to leave you with is never ever buy from a convenience shop. They will mark the price up no end. It's like you pay twice as much for something in a convenience shop as you would in a good value supermarket. Always, always buy everything you need from the best value, low cost supermarket that you can find. I have a video that shows you can eat a healthy, high calorie diet for less than £3.80 a day. That's about $4.50. And this could easily be halved if you only eat as many calories as you need. I'm going to leave a link in the description for these couple of videos that I mentioned. And if there's anything that I didn't say in this video that you think you'd like to add, then make sure you write it in the comments. I always read all of the comments, and there's probably stuff that I didn't even think of here that I could have added, so it would be good to hear from you. If you feel like you did get something from this video, then it would mean a lot to me if you like the video. And I've got another video coming very soon where I've been eating a kiwi every night, one kiwi before bed. It's been pretty interesting, the results of it. So if you want to see that one, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I know there's a lot of people that watch the videos that haven't subscribed. So yeah, that's it. Hope these have helped, and I hope to see you in the next one. Ciao.